Hey, welcome to Tip and Tell, baby. A casual conversation with professional artists. I'm your host, Sid Williams. Orange Lee is a painter, originally from Taiwan, whose work is a mix of Eastern and Western elements. Her paintings evoke a feeling of magic and interconnectivity. Her relationship to the subconscious is evident on the canvas. Often called the Dr. Seuss for the soul, Johnnie Grinder's paintings are surreal and fantastical and explore the tunnels of the mind unlocked. Johnnie decided that he didn't want to study culture. He wanted to be culture. Their journey to each other and to the professional art world feels predestined. They currently work out of Mana Contemporary in Jersey City. So we'll just start from the very beginning. Orange, take us back to where you began, where you grew up, and when you realized that you were an artist, and how your practice kind of started to form. And then Johnnie, we'll get into you.
My name is Orange Lee, and I'm from Taiwan. I can remember is that since when I was little, I always loved to draw, and I love colors. And I think it's like I can remember is that because my grandpa, he loved collecting some, like Chinese traditional painting, like ink painting. And then we have this big painting hang in our living room that was a calligraphy, like dragon.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, that was actually the dragon, but have a different form of the dragon. How to say that? Explain that.
Yeah, it's like the history of the changing words.
Changing word,
from
yes.
the ancient writings to the newer writing.
I guess like that really influenced me the way that was like my roots, you know. I also, when I was little, so I always kind of like, how to say that, like living in my head almost like entertain,
Spent
you know.
a long time later.
Yeah, and then so I remember very clearly that my grandpa and grandma signed me up in this art class since when I was like elementary school. And then one day I finished this painting. I'm so proud. Like I painted this girl standing there, and the background is snowing day. And then I feel like I'm so proud. I need to show my parents. And then I went back home and I told my grandma, I said, look at this, I finished this. And the teacher said I have talent and I wanted to go to art school. I want to be an artist. And my grandma said to me, do not ever think you're Picasso.
Oh.
Harsh.
People like them, they born as an artist and you are not. And then, so that was the day that I started to hit this dream deep inside my heart. And then
Sometimes the painful things are the ones that you realize they push you forward later.
I mean, most painful things, like art is just transcending energy as well.
Yes.
So it is a lot of coming, just whatever conditioning to find this freedom. So even the pain kind of comes out in beauty most of the time.
even become the most beautiful thing in life, because since that day, literally, like, I never shared this dream with anybody after that until when I was 23 or 20. I mean, before that, I was finished my BA in Suzhou University, like
What was your
post-degree.
degree in, Orange?
Business, yeah.
Okay.
And then, but then I graduate, and then I open my own business, like designing jewelry. And then I feel like that at that time I still hiding my dream. Yeah, until one day I was, I think, 23 or 24. And the first time I went to Florence, Italy, and I went to the Uffizi Museum, saw the painting, I think it's Michelangelo, painted the...
Donny Tondo.
Yeah, Donny Tondo, or you can say the Donny Madonna. And then I was standing there. It was something magical happened, the connection from that moment. And then I actually have tears in my eyes.
Overflowing
and I know
awe.
I was like, I feel the fire still there. So I went back to Taiwan through that trip, and I decided I wanted to study art in several different places, and then until I met Johnnie. I think the first time I went to his studio and I saw the paintings he made, I'm serious, like hundreds sketchbook and then paintings, and then I asked him, where you show your art? He said, no, I just paint for myself. I said it to him. You should quit your job, just focus on the art.
Yeah, that's true.
And I said, it's time to show your work to the world. And I realized I say that to him, but I actually say that to myself.
This was all in Taiwan, right?
Yeah, that time was in Taiwan.
And Johnnie, what were you doing in Taiwan?
I'd been living there about 13 years, and I was teaching art and animation.
Okay.
And it was a great journey. It was just there I could live, and basically I could go to a cafe. My Chinese is very bad. And so I could sit in a cafe and sketch, and people would be talking all around me, but it wouldn't affect me because I couldn't understand. So it could be like just white noise in the background.
Yeah.
And so it made me so comfortable because I didn't have the noise distractions of being, if I'm sitting around and everybody's speaking English, I might get caught in somebody's conversation. But if they're all speaking Chinese, I can just get into my own world and move into it.
That's
wow,
interesting.
that's really cool.
So you liked it that you couldn't understand what anyone was saying.
I loved that I couldn't understand.
It's like the comfort of being around people and having community, but not necessarily being distracted by it.
Exactly, yeah.
It's
That
amazing.
to me was so satisfying.
How long were you in Taiwan for?
13 years total.
Oh, 13 years.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did I miss that?
Yeah, you did. And then you, so how did Orange end up in your studio for the very first time?
Well, first I met her at a figure drawing, and it was just,
What is a figure drawing?
It's when you draw live models.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so there's a nude model there. There's about 20 people sitting around, and then Orange walked in late, and I saw her, and I was looking at the model and looking at her, and I was like, I think I'm gonna draw Orange instead, and I started sketching her.
Wow.
I'm sure the model was not feeling good, but I just felt like I really wanted to focus on her, and I started drawing her, and then she came over to scold me for staring at her. I was like, no, I'm just drawing you, And then she came over to my studio, and a week later she moved in.
Yeah.
No way, Orange.
3 months
You're
after
crazy.
that,
Yes. I'm
3 months
serious.
after that, we opened a gallery together.
Yeah, it was actually even the first time I moved out of my home.
Yeah.
When I was 25 at that time. And my mom's like, where are you going? Like, da, da, da. I was like, I have things I need to do.
I have to work. I have to work.
And meeting stuff. And then, but actually I'm moving with Johnnie. Like a week later. Like, seriously.
That's amazing. That's amazing.
And then
just felt so right.
It's just,
I'm
yes,
sure.
it felt just right. The turning point is I got very sick. And then I asked myself in the hospital that.
Yeah, well, you said,
Yeah.
I remember you said to yourself, if I only have 2 years left to live, what would I want to do?
Why I said that 2 years because I feel like I still have this time is a limit. You feel urge to do something, but also have enough time. In 2 years, you can achieve something. So I kind of give this 2 year theory to myself that what if I only have 2 years to live? What I really wanted to do? So I said, I want to do art. So then from that moment, I sold everything.
Yeah.
Like my
She
store.
had 3 stores, or 4 stores.
4
so
stores.
she-
Actually, I'm doing really good.
I remember you telling me you were very successful with your jewelry.
Yeah, because my friend, they can't understand. They couldn't. Like,
Why
they're just
would
like,
you give
oh
up
my
your
God, what are you
business?
doing?
Yeah.
That's like, And then I just feel this is something I have to do. And then so I sold them, and then I came to United States.
Orange, do you think you got sick from not following your heart?
Whoa, that was a good question. That, I think, probably.
Possibly.
Possibly.
Yeah.
Yes, I think. Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
That's a good question. Yes, I think yes.
No, I just, like, it seems like when you got sick, it was really that turning point of the only way maybe to get better is to really follow my heart.
Oh, I like what you say. Yes, I think that is true because I think my body was asking for help. This is very interesting because I mean, Johnnie and I just talked about this, I think, yesterday. I had this some kind of, insight come up that was like, wow, it's kind of like we're chasing things like the success all the things like the standard for the society, but we forgot to taking care ourselves. It's like we have to heal ourselves to able to heal the world. It's like okay, this is it. Sorry.
Oh, 100%. You have to. No, I absolutely know what you're saying. You have to look inward in order to reflect outward, because there's no way of like cultivating love or unity or all of the things that like I think being a positive member of society, whatever that means, kind of is, unless you are that towards yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is true. So true.
So and I think being an artist is like that raw experience of kind of peeling back the layers and being exactly who you choose to be. It's like putting on your big girl pants and saying, okay, now I'm going to take the steps that I want.
Exactly.
And I think that's the power of being an artist. And I think now more than ever, this art world has been muddied by industry and the temptations of industry and the temptations of society and success, that like sometimes we just need to step back and remind ourselves, why did we put these big girl pants on to begin with? Why have we chosen our journey, not the journey of like what's happening around us?
It's true.
That's nice.
Yeah.
So from the day that you did the live drawing and you met there, how long has it been from that point to this point? How long have you guys been together for?
7.
No. Now it's approaching 8 years.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, a lot of changes have happened in 8 years too.
Ooh.
We've gone on a wild journey.
It's just wow and magical.
Are you guys married?
We had some rough times, and yes.
Yes.
She wants me to ask her again.
I said you have to ask me again.
Congratulations, you two.
Why was the first time?
Thank you.
Was the first time not up to your standards?
No,
No,
the first
no.
time I asked her
great.
to marry me when we were on a hilltop in Florence.
Very romantic.
And it was just the most perfect day in the world. And I've never really organized picnics before.
Yeah.
But for some reason, we got all this stuff at this grocery store and some wine and brought it up on this hill overlooking Florence.
Mm-hmm.
And I felt there would never been a more perfect day to ask her. So and I wasn't prepared because I didn't know I was going to ask her. And I found these little flowers on the grass and made a ring of flowers, and asked her to marry me. And for some reason, she said yes. And,
Yeah.
And when was this? When did this happen?
that was like
Wow.
5 years ago or something. Or,
Maybe 5 years ago.
yeah, 6 years ago.
Yeah. I think
We've
5.
been-
And then
But, it hasn't been all. It's been ups and downs. We
Yeah.
had some difficult times, and we even split up for a year.
yeah, I think that's
Bless you.
Bless you.
Thank you.
I mean, I guess that's because we have some difficult time, especially when we came to New York. It was so rough. That's
Yeah,
why we split.
Financial struggle
Yeah.
that just crushed us.
Yeah, so we split up for a year, and then so have this sunk. Then things pull us back together again.
Can we talk a little bit about the Blue Beast, or what I call the Blue Beast experience? Because I was wondering, Johnnie, like when Orange first told you about her experience, like I was wondering what your reaction was to that.
We should also back it up and just explain what this Blue Beast situation is before whoever wants to explain it, either Johnnie or Orange, just kind of give us the scene.
What was happening this night was very bizarre because I was in Mana and I was painting, and it was like 3 a.m. I was feeling like I was having the biggest meltdown of my life, and I was angry and upset, and I started painting this painting. It's like 5 feet by 8 feet, and I painted it's like this blue beast. It was like later, as I'm painting it, she's having her own meltdown of sorts, but her meltdown was even more intense than anything I've ever heard. She felt like she was losing her mind.
Yeah, that's what it sounded like.
Well, that time I actually preparing my first solo show in Brooklyn, and I was doing this series called like Diary of a Chat Girl. So basically,
Oh, that's right.
I experienced about half the year, 6 months online, more like I'm just painting.
It's like an
online
online talk show.
actually. And that was very popular in Asia. And then people were tipping me, but that was not really what I want. But that helped me in financially. But then that kind of made me, I guess in the same way that was not aligned with my heart, what I really want to do. So that I have one day I was just too sad, like so sad, and I was just kind of started to seeing different things, and then in the same moment that Johnnie paint the painting what I saw.
Now, I hadn't been talking to her in maybe a month or so. And then for some reason at 3 a.m, because I'm feeling this intensity, I don't even know why, I send her a message and say, I've found, because the painting evolved through the night. At first it was filled with this anger and this hostility or whatever, and then all of a sudden it started transforming. And it started becoming peaceful. And I painted this doorway in the chest of the beast, and I painted both of us in it.
Well, the thing is, though, I do wanted to say is when he been through the anger, right? As I actually been through very, very dark place. Like, I don't know how to even describe. Like, just the darkest.
And is
dark.
this when you were on the rooftop?
Yes. And then later, when I went through the darkest dark, I felt like I fell into the black hole or something, like literally falling. And then something, when I finally just given up to trying to fight this energy, then have this light shine through my heart, like the place that he painted the doorway.
Like
So
probably later in her night, later in my night, we both came to some kind of peace.
yes.
Without being around each other.
Yeah.
And
So
we were
wild.
like so
Yeah.
in tune, like I'm going through chaos the same time she is.
Yeah.
And that was very, very strange because later we found this is, sort of like, what was that thing called?
Something
Quantum entanglement.
Quantum entanglement,
Things.
we maybe shared so much energy.
Yeah, because it was just too bizarre. Because, I mean, I even told Johnnie, before this thing happened, I don't think I ever really kind of going the direction like, how to say that? Like, because can I share that? Like,
Yeah,
my
whatever,
father.
share whatever you
Yeah,
want.
so because my father, when I was little, he tried to sell me, and that's kind of like a really big shadow in my life.
Wow.
And then later, the things I never really shared before is that actually later he became a monk.
Wow.
Interesting.
So the interesting thing is actually before this thing happened, I have this uncomfortable, or almost you can say a little bit anger, I would say, like toward to the
Religions
spiritual
and
stuff.
things, yeah.
And then so I never even like to talk about things like that. Until this thing happened, it was kind of out of my logic. You know what I mean? Like, kind of like, this doesn't make any sense. It's like, this is too weird. Like nobody will even believe me. Because I actually tried. I tried to talk to people that at that time was, next to me. Not next to me, how to say it? Like, close to me. And they actually thought I went crazy. And a person,
that was after that night,
after that night, and they
thought she was losing her mind,
and
thought
then
maybe she should go to a
like
facility.
Yeah.
Like actually a person actually want to send me to there.
Wow.
Yeah.
It really is an unbelievable story.
Yeah, very, very. And then so later, until I realized I can't talk to anybody, then and then I thought about Johnnie sending me the text, and I said, Johnnie, I have to talk to you.
My text was strange because I said, I don't know why I said this. I said, what did I say?
I think,
I'm something about, I'm here with you now. I'm the stranger in front of you. I'm the rich man.
Yeah,
I'm
actually,
the
he
poor
said,
man.
I'm the person, like the something in front of me. And then that was the time when I saw that beast. And then so that's why I thought I must be like I'm dead or something. That doesn't too bizarre, too much. I even said that was too much. I was like, is it some kind of joke or something? But then I realized that then later when I, reconnect Oh, I'm sorry. Say it.
Finish the
Thank you.
message.
I'm
And
sorry.
then I said, I am here for you now. I found a way to be at peace with myself and the world. And I'm here with you now. I'll be with you forever. And when I said that, didn't remember it at all. And then she's like a week later, 2 weeks later, she showed me the text of it. And I was like, I said that? It was pretty bizarre.
So wild.
It's really interesting that you were like, I'm, you're everything to me, and I'm everything to you, and it really is crazy. And as someone who's had, I had this one experience, and it reminded me of when I saw your painting of the I guess the blue beast. A friend gifted me the magician tarot card after my freshman year of college, because he was always like, dude, you're a magician. I was like, okay. So I took it out of my backpack on the ride home and showed my dad. I was like, look what my friend gave me. And then I put it back in my backpack. And when we got out of the car, it was gone. And I've never been able to find it since. So it's like, it completely disappeared, this card. I have no idea where it went. And the fact that it's the magician card is even stranger. So it's like people go through these experiences that are unexplainable and unbelievable. And the fact that you guys went through one that you kind of both experienced at the same time is just, it's crazy. Yeah. It's craziness.
I have a similar story. I had this painting made for one of my best friends in high school. We were inseparable, really inseparable. And then she kind of fell into some mental illness and ended up using drugs, and our path kind of diverged when we were around like 17, 18. So I went off to college and I made this painting, and it was called Fly, and it was this like eye with wings that came out of it, and it was just an effort to feel to help her feel more free in her brain. And we were friends through it all, through like before the symptoms, after the symptoms, really like a hardcore exploration of love and unconditional love. And I was kind of coping with, I had moved to Vermont, and I just wanted to honor her. So I made this painting. And this was my freshman year of college. I brought the painting home. I lost it for like 4 years. And we had fallen out of touch in these 4 years. Maybe we had seen each other like once or twice, and it was basically like, how you doing? And it would be like, oh, don't come around me. I'm not good for you. All this jazz. I moved home from college and like unpacked my stuff, and I found this painting eventually, like months after I moved home. And during that time, like Hannah came back into my life, in weird ways. Like it was just like physical ways. I like first ran into her mom, and then she like reached out via text message. And it was lovely. Like it was nice that I had this painting and I had my friend back, and she was sober and she was stable. My other best friend, so like Hannah was like my first really unconditional best friend, of like someone you don't grow up with, someone you like choose. And then in college, like I had made another like soul sister kind of situation, and this girl was moving out of Vermont, and our relationship was really centered around Vermont, and she was, like embarking on this new journey. So she goes, I would really love to have a piece of work of yours. And she remembered this like eye painting with the wing. She's like, is there any way like I can have that work? Like I love that work. And I said, you know what? Yeah, you can definitely have this work, because it is made for just like the sake of unconditional love and freedom. So I flew to Vermont with this painting. This is a pretty tragic story, but I got off the plane and I had it all with me for like, I was in Vermont for like 3 days. And I gave it to my, my now, like the girl I went to Nepal with, the girl I hiked the long trail with. We really have been through like some serious stuff. So I gave her the painting. And when right before I got on the plane, like right as I gave Kate the painting, my friend Hannah had died.
Wow.
Oh.
And it was just like a full transference of energy. And I was like, wow.
Wow.
It was like one of those
It's like, how do you explain these
trip.
things to people who don't
believe in any
Yeah.
form of like
like a
energy
higher,
transfer
like a
or
higher
whatever
level.
it is. It's like, I don't know if that's a massive coincidence, but it was literally like the painting left my hands and like a couple hours later, my other friend from high school called me and was like, Hannah died. So it was like immediate. It was a wild ride.
It's pretty crazy.
It is pretty crazy.
It's like physical things having impacts on.
Yeah, but everything physical has an energetic
Yeah.
body to it. So it's like, sometimes I think that energy kind of goes into each other. I'm not really sure.
I wish I knew more about like physics.
It does. It does. It's
Yeah, me too.
Well, it seems like one of the most interesting things because just even somebody angry walking into a room, the energy of them can influence everybody
Just
in the
like
room.
that, yeah.
And so we're seeing that, even like with quantum entanglement, they're talking about, the one thing will be vibrating and the other thing can be in another
Same
location
time, no
that's
matter how
connected and
far
it will
you
vibrate no
did
matter
it.
how far they are from
Yeah.
each other. So everything's
Well,
connected.
Maybe it's like our eyes cannot see, but doesn't mean they don't exist. It's like they're there. It's like the connection,
Yeah, totally. And maybe when you are vibrating with the frequency of somebody, then you change because of them. I'm not sure. But we'll move on from this heady conversation.
Sure, sure.
I will go more into both of your practices as artists. You both share a studio, and your work complements each other, but definitely isn't the same by any means. You both have like an underlining fantasy tone to both of your work.
Which I love, by the way.
Yeah, I love both of your
Thank
works
you.
too. If you guys want to, you guys can just chat about your work for a bit. Like, why do you make the work you make, and how is it sharing a space with somebody you are married to? And
And I'm wondering, your work also seems to kind of, I don't know, maybe this is a bit general, but it reflects each other. And I was wondering if your work kind of was always like similar even before you met.
Let me think about that.
Well,
That's a good question too.
We influence each other a lot because we're around each other like 24 hours
I'm
a day.
serious, 24
and most
hours.
people would kill each other. But for some reason
We're okay.
we love it.
We
And
love it.
because we both love to read and we love
It's half the battle.
and we spend a lot of time anytime like I'm reading something I will a lot of times read out loud to her, she'll read out loud to me if I'm painting or she's painting, or we'll listen to audiobooks together. And the thing that helps us is we're able to have these big conversations about everything, and then it influences us in different ways, but still I have like my direction that I go towards and she has her direction, but our directions just seem to complement each other.
It's true because I think Johnnie really is the person that I think is the first, like I said, the first person that I open my heart finally and then to reconnect with this path, because when we travel a lot together, since when we met, like Nepal, and then have
Went
different
to
places.
Cambodia, painted a mural together in Cambodia.
Yeah, and then he's the person that also sees something in me and say, kind of encourage me.
Well, we used to start, one of our first trips, I think, was Thailand, and we just basically we would travel and spend the whole day sketching. We'd go see new things, but we'd just be sitting in the cafes sketching. And when I saw her doing this and how excited she was, filling up her sketchbooks, and this is what I've always loved to do, because at the time I was doing travel art tours where I'd take students to other countries, and we would just basically be like a art boot camp, and people were like, it was kind of funny because when I was back in at UCLA studying animation, and then one day everybody came up and they go, "Hey, what are your goals after get your MFA?" And I was like, "Well, I just want to paint and travel," and they're going, "That's not a job." And then funny thing, it when I got to Asia, it actually turned into a job.
Yeah.
And so I took students to Vietnam, to Cambodia, and to
Even came to Portland once.
yeah, one of my students came to Portland and
stay with us and then paint with us. So, we really just
Wow.
influence each other all the time. Because not just painting, but really we read quite a lot too.
Yeah, that's been our biggest influence.
and then saying the example, like even from the morning though, every day. It's like when I woke up, I will learn some kind of insight from my dream. Even this morning too. I will just like woke up. Just the first thing I open my eyes, I will say, "Hey, Johnnie, I just learned something."
I know, and she will have these insights sometimes at 4:00 in the morning, and it's like not. It's just like, Johnnie, I have to tell you something.
I have to tell you something.
I have to wake you up. It's urgent.
Yeah. Well, sometimes if a short, if a short one, maybe like 10 minutes or 30 minutes, but sometimes the long is like 2 hours.
She can remember the details of her dreams for a long, long time, and I've never heard anybody do that before.
Because he's like, "How long your dream exactly?" Like, I can literally like talk like 2 hours. Like, and then what happened?
What was really bizarre is after she had that meltdown, the week after, she couldn't take care of herself, basically.
Yeah. We never really shared this.
And then I know, and then she asked me to come over, and we'd been apart. And I came over and took care of her, and I had to take care of her like 24 hours a day. And
I couldn't really communicate with the other people.
Most people would immediately just put her in a psych ward, and I was like, you know what? I think that the only thing you need is to be some time to sort whatever happened out in your head and to have someone love you and take care of you.
Yeah, and then so at that time, because Johnnie...
Let me tell about the dreams, though.
To tell the dream.
But so she started having these, during this week, it was really bizarre because she was only sleeping about 2.5 hours a night. And
I think I would also.
I couldn't. And this happened for like a week. But the thing is, and she was eating just like very, very little.
And I only can eat
specific things. She would go like, I need seaweed. I need, And
then it's weird because I'm saying is like I'm not at that moment. Is not I'm trying to be a vegetarian. It's
her body just wouldn't let her
my body don't let me because once I eat the meat, it will throw up. And then I only can eat certain things at that time, and I have a clear mind. And then the weird thing is, every morning I have a super strong kind of energy. But then at that night, every night though, Johnnie have to carry me back.
She would have superpower, like energy that I couldn't understand, because she only slept a couple hours. And then she would have this energy and this clarity like super I've never seen. She could think about everything she wanted so clearly.
Yeah.
And then she started having these, every night before she went to bed, she'd just collapse.
Yeah.
And she couldn't even walk anymore.
Yeah, I can't walk.
And I had to carry her over to the bed.
And this only lasted a week or so?
No, actually more than that.
No, this went almost a month.
Probably more.
But
and that time before I go to bed, not just clap, I'm started coughing, it's like the movie,
like
somebody got gunshot or something.
Shot
and like feeling like coughing blood or something. I'm doing that. And then first day I thought I'm dying, But then because every day I kind of just used to it. We even laugh at each other. Okay, bye.
Yeah,
I'm going to die.
No, because what would happen is she would have these dreams, or she would die. I'm dying a dream. And then she'd wake up and tell me about what happened.
You're not supposed to die in your dreams, Orange. Did you not get that memo?
That's what we always said. We said if you die in your dream, you really die.
And then I actually literally, I can remember not just one dream. When we remember the dream is like the dream before you woke up. Mm-hmm. But I can remember all the dream like 3 or 4 together.
Thing.
Yeah, and how I die in a dream, and how I transform. In the transform time, I can remember how I change into the next dream. So that's why during that time, remember I said I was preparing the show. So the show started to change because I started to paint my dream. Have this, so one day, because this dream thing we'll talk, it will never end. So just say
because
one.
It happens every night.
Yeah, every night. So that's too much. But have one thing very special. So I woke up, I remember so clearly, I dreamed about pyramid. And then I felt like I'm understanding something very special about this pyramid thing. And then I woke up the same thing. I woke Johnnie up too. And then I said, oh my God.
I went to go get the mail.
No. And then I went.
You went
yeah.
to
So
okay.
then I told Johnnie, I said, oh my God, I know now. It's like the pyramid, I just on and on and talk. And then after I finished, so I went out. Actually, I went out to the mailbox. And I remember I dreamed the pyramid that morning. And then I went to the mailbox. I got this invitation from Guggenheim Museum, and that the cover, the invitation, the card had the pyramid in my dream.
It was the pyramid,
and that was the pyramid made by the painter Hilma F. Klint.
Oh,
and then,
you know what?
Yeah.
I was just thinking. I was like, oh, they probably know who Hilma af Klint is, and like.
Definitely, she did a lot. She sounds like a little bit of a parallel.
Her stuff is out there. It's like,
of course,
it's like she probably went through
seances.
a similar experience that you went. I was wondering if either of you meditate.
That things happen. I meditate almost every day.
After that experience,
because I have to though. Mm-hmm. It's not just I want to do it for something.
It's not like a discipline thing. It's like a grounding thing.
Yes, it's something. It's a need.
When she first had that meltdown or experience, whatever, it's not really a meltdown. I felt it was like a melt up, because she had a really intense downward spiral, but then out of it, she just opened up these other pathways that it was like kind of like washing away, washing away the, you have to go burn off the stuff that's not helping you, so that you can get to this place that's free and you're able to just find your path. And I feel like a lot of it's been about this kind of a path of personal evolution, because then when you're evolving as a person, you're finding your own personal peace, your own, I don't mean like evolving, just like you're growing, you're becoming better.
When you're shedding the layers.
Yes.
Because I do think it's, like the Hilma thing, it was pretty interesting because Guggenheim, that show was the first actual show, solo show
ever.
Yeah. And then when I look at the date, is actually the date of my opening.
Her first solo show.
My first solo show. And then you can say maybe maybe that was a coincidence or something, but then something was linked, and then later. Finish my show. I went to see her show
the next day, right?
I think next day or 2 days later, and then it was just beyond the words, because I can feel so much is some kind of connection beyond the words.
Mm-hmm. That show was just absolutely incredible.
It was. I couldn't believe. I just remember reading from like when I was at the Guggenheim and seeing her work. I just remember reading that. She chose not, I think she chose not to show any of her work because she knew that no one was
too ahead of her time.
No one was going to be able to understand it. So she just she knew that she was making stuff that just totally regular people couldn't comprehend what they were going to witness.
I saw that show with Dorothea and my mom and the two curators from MANA, so Isa and Carlene, and the group of. We were just like middle of the day Guggenheim trip, and I will just never forget that show.
It was, I'm like getting chills thinking about it.
Yeah.
I just remember being like, this is a movie. It was spectacular.
Yeah.
The giant pyramid, like rainbow bridge type thing.
Yeah, it was.
It's
all of it.
It's
all
wild.
Of it.
It's wild.
Yes. Yeah.
I wonder if she was able to just access that part of her brain that allowed for ideas to just flow, much like it seems like you guys are able to get, especially you, Orange. It sounds like you're able to just let your brain.
Yeah, Johnnie,
run.
you're just going to get the mail.
No, Johnnie, you too.
I'm just joking, Johnnie.
No, Orange is connected to another world for sure, but she's.
So are you.
I think you are also. You're able.
Just playing.
I find it really cool and interesting that your whole book. forgive me, I forgot the title, but it's the whole premise is that you're drawing from your dreams. You're drawing images and stories from your dreams. And I mean, for you to be able to remember those images and whatever's in that dream and to be able to paint it on a canvas is like, that takes a certain amount of ability to let your brain just run on
Creativity.
Yeah, free to run
Freedom.
free.
But I think it was very powerful and beautiful things that I feel like that's why it's so important that the artist from the past is also, like, for example, Hilma, that kind of through her work had this connection with me in this generation. So it's kind of like, it's no separation, almost like it's all connected. We build from the past, and then we also connect with the future.
Yeah, and I think time is always, everything is everything always.
Yes.
So like the way we perceive time is a perception. So there is some ease that no matter where in history it occurred, that it's still kind of occurring now, that energy is still flowing. So I think it's comforting to know that people live and lived like that, and can have that ability to have this presence and this flow and this output of just like extreme experimentation with how the world works, how you fit in the world, and how there is no separation between you and the world.
Yes.
That if you want to be as big as the universe, you can just let yourself be a part of the universe.
Yeah.
But it takes practice.
The
ability to shut your brain off.
Like I met you maybe a year ago, and you're like just showing your work and having this experience. You've kind of moved through the pain. Your dreams are what fuel your work right now. Like, you feel like a piece in your story, or do you feel like you're still learning your story?
Well, I would say it's life is always just learning, but then it's like never in the learning journey.
Jersey
The
City,
sound in the
man.
background.
Fire truck?
No, that's just Jersey City being Jersey City.
It's actually the little meter maid. Oh, the street sweepers are coming. Let's take a break. Street sweepers.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, we can pause for a little second. Yeah, we'll be right back. Post street sweepers.
Oh, right back.
Johnnie. Johnnie, so you're born in San Francisco?
No, I was born in San Diego.
You were born in San Diego? Okay.
San Diego, California.
Ooh, sunny California.
Do you surf?
Yeah, I do surf a bit. And I surf. They have good surf in Taiwan as well.
Sweet.
And,
Yeah, that's sweet.
I love surfing.
But I was actually more into. I mean, I love body surfing, and to me, it's just like one of the things where you're completely in the one with the wave. Mm-hmm. But I ended up going to school up at Berkeley for my undergrad, and then later studying for my MFA in UCLA. So up and down the coast.
Amazing. Do you miss
But
California?
Still, not really. California, what everybody else loves about California, I didn't love. They go, oh, it's 70 in LA, it's 76 degrees and sunny today, like every single day. And to me, it didn't change enough.
Yeah, I think that's why I like seasons.
Same here, yeah. I never had a chance to experience them, so that when I came out here, I was like, this is awesome. I love it. We get to see the fall. We have sometimes a couple of seasons in one day.
So from California, you traveled a bit, and then you fell in love with Taiwan, and that's kind of where your story took off.
Wait, can I backtrack real quick?
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
Backtrack.
I'd love to know more about the tunnel systems in San Diego and kind of how that influenced you and your work.
Wow.
Yeah. Oh, wow. Let's see. Just basically a few blocks from where I lived, they had these giant drain pipes they built. Like in the 60s, I guess they had some some floods, or not in the 60s, I don't remember when it was, but they had some big floods, and so then in the 60s they built these huge drain pipes so that whenever it rained again, they would be able to carry all the water down to the bay or down to the ocean instead of flooding the city. But then, it never rained again for 50 years, so it was big, beautiful, giant pipes. And I wasn't supposed to go down there, so they became one of my biggest memories was exploring these tunnels, And then I found out the side tunnels that you have to crawl through, they lead to other neighborhoods. And so I'd crawl through these things and then peek through, where the manhole covers are, but they usually have a place where all the water pours down on the side.
You are a mutant Ninja Turtle.
Yeah, and so I would peek through there and I said, oh my God, this is wild. This is like my neighbor's street, or the next street over. And then I started realizing that all of these pipes were connected, and they all flowed down to the ocean, and all the neighborhoods were connected. And so that, as I went through my life, I'd go back home, and my big adventure for the day. And because I couldn't talk about it, because I wasn't supposed to go down there, it became like my secret memory. Because I knew I'd get in trouble if I said, hey, guess where I went today? I was exploring. We told you to stay away from there.
Yeah.
And it stuck with me until it started seeping into my dreams. Later, I started skateboarding. And, a lot of the places we ended up finding great places that had, like, just beautiful places to skate, And so the pipes and the tunnels became a big part of my life. And as a teenager, I started having weird dreams where I'm skating down these giant, giant tunnels and pipes. And I would get glimpses out of the side tunnels as I'm skating by. And these glimpses are these magical, colorful worlds. And I would always wake up thinking, I'm going to go explore those worlds later. And I guess that was kind of the seed for travel for me, which was like, I know there's another world out there.
Also, that you told me that because the pipes that you feel like it's also mean connection because you see different neighborhoods.
Yeah. It basically the core of it was it did when I started realizing that it all was about connection, because each of these pipes, the smaller pipes, led into the bigger pipes, which led to the ocean. So I started seeing the connection with all of my neighborhood, the connection with all of the world, and then I started using the pipes in my artwork as a symbol of connection, like one day leading into the next, the people we meet, how everything affects everything. And it became kind of like this story of the invisible, like kind of the invisible veins of the universe,
Totally.
Was there a point where you were traveling like exclusively through the tunnels? Like, did you ever stop, like,
Using
skating?
streets?
Yeah, like skating above ground, skating the sidewalks. Like, were you ever just like totally traveling by tunnel at one point, or no?
No, because they have too much mud and stuff in certain areas, that gets stuck on the bottom. Or there's also some of the pipes are, filled with garbage that gets washed down.
Alligators.
Yeah. So, but there were places that I did spend quite a bit of time, and these were most of my time exploring the tunnels was actually by myself, which was why they became even more intense, because I never brought flashlights with me. I just happened to be in that part, and I was like, oh, I got to go through here today. And so that became half of the excitement of exploring something in the dark. And then you get through until you see the side tunnels where the light can come through.
Oh my God.
It's really
there's
scary.
long stretches.
I was so afraid
Really
of the dark
scary.
as a kid.
I'm still afraid of the dark.
Me too.
And I went back several times to like check out these. I go, man, these pipes were massive. They're so huge. And then you realize I'm a lot taller now than I was when I was a kid, and so the tunnels are not as big as I remember them to be. But sometimes your perspective, as a kid, they became bigger, and even in my dreams, they became even bigger than that. They were giant, massive tunnels and like arteries of life.
That's amazing.
That was just so amazing that Johnnie told me that because later it's all connected. Because when he went to Berkeley, studied the anthropology.
Yeah, first I started studying English literature and anthropology up there.
Oh, wow.
And that was interesting because, I was able to
study culture.
Study stuff that I wanted to. I was really excited about it and got to read a lot. And then I started thinking of the anthropology led me into travel. I didn't realize I didn't want to study culture. I realized I wanted to be culture. And that was what was the big transformation that led me into art. I was always drawing and always writing at the time. And then it never even crossed my mind that I could make a living as an artist. Because I've been...
Then we met.
I mean...
I was just curious what your kind of first creative outlet was. Like, what gravitated you towards creativity? Like, what was the first thing? And I guess this question this can be for both of you.
Oh.
Well, yeah. My first creative outlet was probably writing. And I used to like to write short stories. And then I got into music and used to play guitar. Well, I still play guitar, but I realized I wasn't as passionate about music as I was about drawing. And drawing for me became I don't know what it is, kind of like a gift to myself, because drawing is a very private thing. You have your sketchbook, you're not sharing it with people, and it's just me writing my ideas and my pictures and my doodles and coming together ideas that will later turn into paintings. And then it's very different from painting, because painting is very open to the world. Somebody can walk in the room and see your painting, but a sketchbook is just filled with you can freely explore whatever you want. And that to me is like the greatest joy is filling up sketchbooks. And then that's why when I met Orange, I had been traveling after I left LA after animation. I ended up going to Europe and started painting some murals in Czech Republic. And then I ended up back in Asia. I'd already spent about 8 years in Asia, or 7 years, I don't remember. And then I came back to Asia and ended up going back to Taiwan. And that was when finally, because of the sketchbooks, I feel like I was always hiding my art from the world. I didn't want to share my art with people. And that has a lot to do with maybe too many times, you compare yourself to other people, and I didn't want people to see what I was doing. And
in the same time, I feel like Johnny's more like he said, he really totally just paint for himself. Like literally we go everywhere, we just paint and draw, and it's like our life is like diary. For me, art is like that too. So it's kind
really
of very, very personal. So you never really think about, it's a where to show, where to try to sell or anything. It's not even come to the mind, I guess. So then, we met, and at that time I was, I have stores, and then so I kind of just, hey, maybe it's time we can do something. It's kind of like it's just perfect time, because for him is finally he showed his art, and finally I telling myself it's time I can open myself to this path.
And it was frightening, because she said oh, let's open a gallery, and we opened a gallery in a store right next to her jewelry store. So it was cool, because then I could just go over and, hey, how you doing? She'd come over, and then we'd let's do it together.
Yeah.
But it was frightening, because she goes, I've never shown my art to anybody. And now I'm going to make a living off of just art. And just to take that step was, when you risk everything,
it's a lot.
It pushes you to move forward.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm putting myself up there. And it was, but because we had a lot of people that would come into our world.
Yeah.
Because of that, and our collectors in the beginning just really are some of the most important collectors for us.
Yeah. I mean, after all of the people I met at Mana, which is where we met, I felt super comfortable in your studio, and I don't know that many people in the building, to be totally honest, but it was just this open heart that really welcomes you in with an open sense of this is our world, come explore it with us, come make it with us. And I think your whole studio feels like that as well.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Can I just ask an animation question?
Sure.
I'm wondering, did the animation degree allow you to fulfill any creative itches at all?
Oh, you know, animation was a very big influence on me because so that, you know, the animation really opened up a lot for me. And the best thing that it did for me, it was allowed me, you know, you're supposed to make 3 films when you go there, and we had a really good program. UCLA animation department is just like the best, and they basically
like full length
no
films or
short
shorts?
films. In animation there's no full length stuff because it takes a long time, and so it gave me a lot of the ability to focus on exactly what I wanted to do. And so like one of the short films I made was Tunnels of the Mind, and this other one
Your grandma
I made this
one.
film about my grandma, you know, when my grandma died, and so I made this film, the Well of Lost Souls, and it was cool because then I was able to identify or like address issues that were really close to my heart, and I could make whatever I wanted. And then the funny thing is, in animation, you know, one of my professors was like, all right, everybody get up and tell what you want to do for your whole life, and that was when I stood up and told everybody I wanted to paint and travel. And that gave me the confidence. Going to UCLA gave me the confidence to go, you know what, I want to just paint. I want to draw. And one day I was working this animation job with this friend of mine, and he says, listen, it's like, are you looking for another job when this one ends? I go, I'm not. And he goes like, well, what do you want to do? I go, I just want to paint. I want to paint and travel. And he goes, well, why don't you do that? And I sold everything I had. I went back to Europe, and that's when I just started. I stayed there 3 months, just sketching in the hostels every day. I stayed in Paris for a month, and then 2 months in Prague. And then when I started painting a mural in Czech Republic, and it's my first time painting a mural, I was in this smoking room, and it was just covered with this angry stuff, and it's like, fuck the world and all this. And I was like, I can't sit here. The energy of it makes me feel horrible. And so one day I went and got a bunch of paints and painted the room. And when I painted the room that night, stayed up all night painting it, and the owner came and said, who painted this? And I thought they came and got me and said, the owner wants to talk to you. And I thought she was going to yell at me. And then she goes, I've got 5 hostels. I want you to paint all of them. And I was like, oh. So just that sentence to me gave me the confidence that I needed that I realized that I was okay. I can move forward. Somebody wants to hire me to do work. And then I said, oh, this is great. I went back to Taiwan, and I just put all of my energy into my art and into my painting. But it was mostly just to give myself the validity of like, this is a good path. You can be happy doing this. It doesn't matter if you're making a living at it. It's just you're okay being you. You're okay painting.
It's a
you're
good
okay
life.
doing this. Yeah. And then when I met Orange, she just makes things happen. She's like the manifesting queen. And what happens is she thinks about something and she goes and has zero doubt that it will come true. And just basically says
meditation.
What she's going to do, focuses on it, and it becomes this picture in her head that she cannot stop from coming true. It's like anything she's tried has been successful, and it's like unbelievable. It's just, to me, to be around this kind of energy has just changed my life for the better. I mean, because I wasn't even showing my art to anybody when I met her, and then 3 months after meeting her, I'm a full-time artist.
And with a gallery.
And and that's what we did for a living.
Orange, how do you keep that? How do you keep doubt from entering into your mind? Like, how do you combat it so well, or do you not?
Well, I don't know how my exactly work, but I think I think Johnnie sometimes said about me is like, I'm kind of like a very, when I wanted to do something, I almost have like one straight mind, like just a straight
track mind.
Yeah, track mind, like a really just the one line. This is it, and I almost like once what if I didn't get on that place, I will keep going around and around to say that almost.
The one thing.
Yeah,
she'll
one thing.
repeat over and
Sometimes
over until it
Johnnie was
happens.
okay, stop. It's like, oranges so many times. I said, okay, we're doing it. I said, yeah. Then, so I guess, I don't know. It's something, I don't know. It's always
from my
in me.
perspective, it's just like she completely will be absorbed in the thought of what she wants to do, so much absorbed in the thought of making it happen that there's no space for doubt.
no space.
That's beautiful.
Because she's so
That's
obsessed
great.
about like
That's
making it happen.
that's a strong mind.
So to me, it blows me away.
Yeah, that's incredible.
Thank you.
But I mean, since I met her, she's just when she was 25, she'd already had all these stores, and her family. She started selling her jewelry on the street.
On the street, actually. I selling because when I selling, actually my family was not happy with that. Because like I say, I follow what they wanted me to do. I understand them though. They really don't want me suffer. They want just me to go into the business and making okay money, all the stuff. Mm-hmm. So I did. But then after I finished, but I didn't go the path, actually after I graduate, they want me going to bank, but then I didn't. So I said, I thought find something that kind of between, because I feel like designing things still kind of making, creating stuff, but also still building the business.
Totally.
Kind of a, compromising in a way. And then so I start actually from on the street, and while I was still in the school, actually. I said, it's like, actually, I was, when I still studying, I call standing box, basically was I buying this box and I put jewelry in the box and then just on the side of the street and then selling it. And then,
like next to somebody's store.
Yeah, next to somebody's store, in between the store, actually. But then I was just doing very well, like, just really well. And then so after 1 year, or less than a year, I started to open a store. And then so end up I have 4 stores.
Amazing.
Basically, I'm helping myself to build, but that's also allowed me to have the money to let me travel and then also let me to study.
Yeah, your money, your freedom.
Yeah, and then I made that money. Actually, I traveled to back to Florence. I study oil painting, sculpture, etching, and wax sculpting, enamel things in Florence with the master. And then also, back to Tokyo. So basically it's then kind of like, I'm not depends on others. I'm basically just making the way step by step, and I'm making this money and finally get to the one point. I said, I'm going to just do
art
full time. Yeah.
She took all of her savings and just, basically it was...
I built from nothing.
She built it from nothing, and then said, that's when we took the road trip to the U.S., I think.
Yeah,
too.
in the beginning, actually, when we came to USA, took like 4 months. I bought a van, and then we basically just travel in a van, like, I think 3 times around the USA. And then just go, like, travel, and then just go to museums, sketching whole day, and then do all the stuff, and then... First year was...
It was quite a hippie life, but it was...
very hippie life.
It was really fun because we were just getting into
paint.
like, just drawing, mostly drawing and some painting.
Yeah.
And it was just fun because we're trying to fill up our worlds, and then we decided to stay.
That time when I decided stuff to come to USA, that was the first time I came to USA. So I'm not even know anything about this place. I'm not even know if I can...
We didn't know the art scene
or
the art
what,
world. Or
I
how
don't
to
have
make
any
it.
connection. Mm-hmm. I'm not study here or something. So I'm just kind of like land here. So
you're just an open book.
Yeah.
At what point did you start having expectations for your career? Like, at what point were you like, I need to make a certain amount of money, or needed to, or just have... I don't know. Did you give yourself expectations, or do you allow the experiences to have their own presence, kind of?
Well, they've...
Because it's a fine line between
For the
following
most-
your
I feel
heart
that
and also playing the game.
I think this is kind of a grow. I would say it's more organic.
Yeah, it's
very organic.
In the beginning, it's mostly just been survival.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then
when you pass the line, not about the cost of the surviving, the financial thing, then not about to work on something, a series, a bigger work, and a idea more complete.
And it gives you more freedom to actually like not worry about surviving.
Exactly.
Gives you more freedom just to work.
Last question for Johnnie.
Yes.
Oh, definitely.
So, I had read that someone compared you. They said that you're the Dr. Seuss for the soul, and I was wondering how that makes you feel.
Oh, to me that was that made me feel really good, because I felt like when people understand my art and what I do, because my art has changed a lot through the years, and I use a lot of words in my art that are positive and about transformation, about personal growth. And so the things that I do are all about kind of like creating a roadmap for myself, because when I'm surrounded by these words and these symbols and these images that are about kind of growing towards your dreams and making things happen and becoming the best you can be, I'm programming myself to do that. And so when other people can see what it is I'm doing, and I don't have to explain it, but they say something like that, it felt like such a gift to me of somebody understanding me. And I think that's what we're all trying to get, is trying to like go, hey, can you see who I really am? Can you understand what I'm about? And to me, that made me feel like I was aligned with the world. And
Yeah.
That's really the most beautiful thing, when the collector really actually see and understand, like connect so deep with your painting,
No, it's just nice. It's like it's like when you're a kid, you're seeking some approval from people just to know that you're okay, And then as you get to be an adult, you're pushing yourself further and harder and trying to get some acceptance from the world that you're contributing, you're doing something good. And it takes a long time to heal from the past and to grow from it. And once you do, sometimes you don't even notice your own flowers that are coming out of you. In fact, it's funny because when I was in UCLA, this friend of mine made this short film, and it was kind of funny because he had me dress up in this suit of flowers. I'm covered with flowers, and there's this thing about a person who didn't realize, a person who couldn't see their own beauty, basically. And then, but the world could see it, but they couldn't see it. So it was kind of fun. I don't know. That didn't have anything to do with this, but
No, but it was sweet.
Just kind of like it totally makes sense. Yeah, it's like finally we searching. Well, in a way, I feel like for me, it's like also like we keep searching approval, but until we finally to see our own beauty, we actually is the person
can approve
can
ourselves.
approve ourselves.
Yeah.
Totally. You guys are such a little dream. Yeah. It's been so nice
you.
chatting.
It really has.
Thank you so much. And then I really enjoy the talk.
Yeah, me too.
Today.
Me
'Cause
too.
it's I was a little bit surprised. We're actually going very kind of deep.
Yeah.
I like it.
That's good.
And I'm very comfortable. So yeah, thank you.
All right, babies, I'll let you go.
Thank you.
All right. Well, you guys have an awesome day. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Hopefully we can have some like tea or something when the world goes back to normal.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
we can just, like,
definitely.
hang out.
That would be good.
That would be great.
Good. Nice to meet all of
Yeah.
you as well.
Thank you. Thank you.
Bye.